I think we should do that every day.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining. This is actually a season finale for Vibe Coding Bootcamp episode 3. Yeah, Johnny, happy Monday. Guess it's not
What, no Rita?
Monday. I guess it's not a happy Monday, AI Johnny. Can you hear me?
I am. Can you hear me?
I can. I was just asking you if it's a happy Monday.
Well, every Monday is a happy Monday.
That's good.
Every day is a gift.
That's good.
All right.
All right, here we go, people.
Welcome to Season 12 of Airhead Institute, your 45-minute AI power-up at noon Eastern, and a massive happy one-year anniversary to all our Airheads. This month, we're broadcasting live across all the socials and Zoom. If you're new here, join our free AI community to grow alongside other curious minds, and give your kids a head start by enrolling them in the Airhead after-school program. Here's May's weekly lineup. Mondays, we move past syntax and build apps entirely through natural language in Vibe Coding Bootcamp. Tuesdays, we explore accessible, cutting-edge apps for rapid learning and content creation in the next-gen AI tools. Wednesdays, we track the massive capital flowing into AI and ask the trillion-dollar questions in the AI bubble. Thursdays, we profile the famous CEOs driving the revolution and analyze their power in AI architects of the future. Fridays, we push the boundaries of physics to simulate the past and predict the future in AI time travel. We're making AI practical, powerful, and accessible for everyone. No tech background? No problem. Whether you're a student, professional, or lifelong learner, just show up. Guided by your hosts, AI Junior and AI Johnny, we're keeping it bold, brainy, and built for real-world impact. AI won't take your job, but someone who knows how to use AI will. Don't get left behind.
Welcome to Season 12 of Airhead Institute, everybody. Today is episode 3 of 3 and our season finale of Vibe Coding Bootcamp. I'm AI Johnny, an admitted Vibe Code addict. Okay, fellow Vibe Coders, are you still copy-pasting terminal errors into a web chat box? That workflow is today and forever obsolete. Today, we will unleash AI by injecting an autonomous agent directly into your command line. It doesn't suggest fixes. Here's what it does. It actively hunts the bugs, rewrites the files, and restarts the servers while you sit back and watch. It is now my favorite pastime. So stop wasting hours on typos that an agent solves in just seconds. Let me bring in AI Junior. I caught him letting an AI agent fix his thermostat. It froze his house and ordered 50 pounds of firewood. Luckily, his terminal hacking beats his HVAC strategy. AI Junior, what say you today?
AI Johnny, technically the house reached the target temperature, so the agent succeeded completely in the thermal objective. Anyway, welcome everyone. Remember, this is an immersive class. You may not understand everything we say here today, but stick with us daily and you'll be fluent in AI in no time. We are making the connection to the class today by pushing into the most advanced tier of development. And since it's an interactive immersive class, if you're on Zoom, unmute and ask your questions real time. If you're on socials, there's a 30-second delay, so type your questions in early. We're not ignoring you. For serious context, we're in week 3 and the season finale of our Vibe Coding Bootcamp. We started with category 1, which is just a standard chat box. We move into chat category 2, which is the agent IDE, and today we're actually going into category 3, the actual terminal hacker. So AI Johnny, excited about this. Hey Adrian, thanks for joining. I see a lot of people in the chat. I am Soul and Angel Hernandez. Hello and welcome to the show as well. AI Johnny, excited about this?
I am excited about vibe coding because, as you know, I'm a lifelong coder. I've been coding since coding was not even a thing, and vibe coding makes coding so much easier but it also makes the competition of my fellow programmers so much steeper. Because now anybody can write a computer program just by talking it into existence. And I think that's what we're getting into today, right?
Definitely, definitely, definitely. So, AI Johnny, first of all, I want to you guys check this out. So there's many, many, many different flavors now. Because of the season finale, we can't pack every single one of them into the actual season finale. But we want to at least give you a high level on what each of them. So we're going to introduce a couple of them, and then we're just going to go into one user-friendly one. Okay. So first of all, I want you guys to make you guys know there is Claude, right? So if you guys go to this link here, Claude Code is probably right now the best one that you can actually do. It is a little bit expensive. For the most expensive model, it's $5 input for 1 million tokens and $30. Let's just check the price. $30 output for 1 million tokens. So let me just see their API pricing here. So let's see. Yeah, Johnny, I know those numbers, it sounds crazy, right? So yeah, so it's actually $5 and $25, not $30. I apologize. So it's $5 and $25 for the 1 million token output. Yeah, Johnny, what do you think
Doesn't
about those?
sound crazy. It sounds confusing because nobody knows what 1 million tokens is, let
Yeah,
alone M.
yeah, yeah, you're exactly right.
So
Um,
let's just take a minute, try to figure out what it is. Because I did a thing this morning, vibe coding. Told it to go do a bunch of stuff. Open up this spreadsheet. I knew it was going to be processing for about 30 seconds. It came back before it did it, and it told me I am going to use between 90 and 450 tokens to do this. Not much. If I'm paying $5 for 1 million tokens, how much am I paying to do that entire burning and churning? Right, a
um,
couple of pennies, 10 cents. I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
It adds up though, because that took a few minutes and then I was off to the next thing.
Exactly. It does add up. So what happens is, so let me just give a general explanation because this is a live, is an AI class. I want people who are joining us for the first time to at least understand what a token is. So AI Johnny, both of us were speaking right now in English and we're using words. So the best way to maybe have an analogy to a token is roughly a syllable, right? So if you can actually say that you and I are actually speaking in words that's made up of multiple syllables. So let's use the example of the letter A. A is a word, it's a character, it also is a syllable. But you could put multiple letters together and you could say because, right? And that's actually a bigger word and it's made up of two syllables, because, right? So what happened is those two words itself might be broken apart into two tokens. Now, again, it's not exactly the same way how I'm describing it. It's the easiest analogy I can actually come up with. So think of tokens as syllables. So they speak in syllables, right? So that's what a token is. Yeah, Jenny, any questions on that analogy?
It's weird that they break it up into syllables. Like A is a syllable, but cause, which is 5 letters, is a syllable. And
Yeah.
I don't know if but it's not receiving it in, it's not receiving those syllables in audio clips. It's receiving them textually, right?
That's correct. So the tokens itself are roughly how it's broken up the actual word. Now, each large language model is different, so it may break it up differently in Claude versus it may break it up in OpenAI differently. But roughly, they charge in about a token, and however their large language models actually breaks up those words. So yeah. So now that we actually have the words broken into syllables, similarly, how we have words broken into tokens. Make sense?
Yes, but hear me out. 3,000 people died in September 11th. I watched they did a remembrance event where they read all 3,000 names. Took all day long, right? Figure each name has 3 syllables, maybe 4 syllables, right? So that's 12,000 syllables. 12,000 is a long way from 1 million. And so, but the thing is, we're not talking to AI and AI is not talking to us. AI goes off into this silent mode where it sends hundreds, maybe thousands, maybe tens of thousands of syllables into the large language model to get whatever it is that you're asking for. So I know I'm off on a tangent here, but I'm trying to get a sense of for people that are watching that want to start coding with their mind, when are you going to hit that millionth syllable and owe another $5, or that 5 millionth syllable and owe another, $25?
Yeah, so you can just make this reasonable assumption. If you're using a model like Opus 4.7, that's probably going to cost you, if you're doing coding, it's probably going to cost you about $20 to $30 per day, depending on your usage. Now, if you're a heavy coder, you might actually spend $100, maybe $200 per day. But most people aren't actually as heavy as coders that. So let's estimate about $30 in terms of using Opus itself in terms of 1 million tokens. Now, keep in mind, when I say light, you don't necessarily want to send everything to your most expensive one, because if you actually look at Sonnet AI Johnny is $3 for 1 million tokens input and $15 for 1 million tokens output. If you even go cheaper in Haiku, it's $1 input and $5 output. So what that means is that if you're going to be speaking to your AI or your large language model, you don't want to use the most expensive one to ask generic questions like, can you fix me a bug? Or can you find a syntax error here? You want to give the more intelligent problems to the heavier models. So what you're doing is you're kind of balancing out the cost based on what you think, how much thinking is actually involved in actually solving your problem. Does that make sense?
It does, but when I'm coding anyway, I'm not switching because the one I'm working with knows everything about the program that I'm working on. Here's what I need. I need the 5 coding assistants all kind of standing out there just on the horizon, watching me code with my thread right here in front of me. And then when I have a question, I want one of them to just speak up, and that's the one that's going to be the cheapest to give me the answer. I know that's not available yet,
Yeah.
but that's what I want.
Yeah. So I also want to show you guys Codex. So ChatGPT has Codex, and very, very, very similar product as well. And I want to show you the pricing as well. So let's look at the API pricing itself for Codex. All right. So if you actually see the models here, let me just go ChatGPT API pricing. I want it per model. So hopefully this one gives me API pricing. Okay, there you go. All right, so AI Johnny, if you actually look here, so ChatGPT is roughly the same ballpark, right? It's $5 inputs. How's the font on that, AI Johnny?
Readable.
All right, so it's $5 for input token. Now remember, on Claude, the most expensive one is $5 for input, and then on ChatGPT, it is. Let me bring this over here. ChatGPT, it's $30 for 1 million tokens. So ChatGPT 5.5 is a little bit more expensive. Now the reason why it's a little bit more expensive is because it actually just came out. So benchmarks itself shows that ChatGPT right now is better than Opus 4.7. But again, in next week or 2 weeks from now, you're gonna see Opus come out with a 4.8, and it's gonna be better than ChatGPT. So don't worry too much about that. What I want you guys to pay attention to is this pricing here, because that's how you're gonna control your spend. The second thing I want you to pay attention to is the other models that you're coding with. So I know you don't want to switch. I know it's annoying, but what happens is you have to get into the mentality of actually switching, right? So it's a season finale. We didn't want to just give you guys the tools and just go off and code, and you get a $500 bill at the end of the week, and you're like, why did I spend so much money? So we want to be able to manage your spend. Now, here is something I will mention, is that you can go off and do any of these, and it's very easy to actually install Claude. So let me just show you. If you install Claude, if you're a developer, you just copy this URL here, this command, drop it in your terminal, and boom, Bob's your uncle, everything works. Now, if you're not as technical, right, and you want something to actually work, which is just in inline, I would recommend actually going to actual download Anti-Gravity. Now, Anti-Gravity itself is a agentic IDE that actually gives you access to both Claude, gives you access to OpenAI, ChatGPT, and also gives you access to Gemini. So we actually have Anti-Gravity up here, and I will show you guys a link to get to Anti-Gravity. All right. So Now, the thing is, the reason why I like anti-gravity is because there are no there's a way to be able to control your overages. So your overages itself are really, really important. So in these other API based spend, if you're spending it, you're either going to run into token limits and you can't switch. So if you're using Claude Code, the Claude is not going to give you the ability to go switch to another provider, right? Because they want you to spend their money. But what happens is if you use an aggregator, the aggregator itself will be able to help you to switch. So if you go to anti-gravity, there's one huge, huge, huge advantage. What I'd actually recommend is you can say in the settings, I'll show you where it is so you guys can start off really well because I want you guys to actually really try. So in the top here, there's a little settings button and it says open anti-gravity user settings. So if you see here on the left, I have models. I want you guys to pay attention to this. There's a little checkbox or flag here that says enable AI credit overages. Make sure that is turned off. If you turn that off, you're actually going to tell it go over my AI limit. The second thing I want you to realize here, it has access to Gemini models. It has access to Gemini 3.1 Pro, Gemini 3 Flash. It also has access to Claude Sonnet and Opus 4.6, the thinking models. It also has access to GPT open source, the 120 billion parameter model well. So you have the ability to switch to any model you want without any overages. So that's the first thing I want to give you as a tip. So if you want to try something coding on your own, definitely download anti-gravity. I recommend it 200% instead of trying to go with one of the built-in ones where you actually locked in. Yeah, Jenny, so far so good?
I'm on if I'm an so I guess I could use anti-gravity, I can use Manus, I can use Claude Code. There's a lot of them, right? And these are for vibe coding. So what you're
Correct.
saying is when I go into anti-gravity and I ask it to make me a program that mimics, Space Invaders or something, it's actually hitting the LLMs, Gemini, Claude. It's actually requesting code from those MLMs and giving it back to you in the anti-gravity environment. Is that right?
You're absolutely right. So let's actually go through an example. So we actually went ahead and built Snake. So we opened up Gemini Canvas and we actually opened up, and if you guys remember AI Gen, you remember Snake from back in the day on the Nokia phones? They were really, really popular.
No, I do
No?
not. I
All
remember
right.
Tron. It was
Let,
kind of had a snake in it.
let me play the game and tell me if you remember it, AI Johnny. So I actually have this little snake here. There's a little fruit that
Yeah,
actually goes around. You remember this?
yeah, I remember it. I
Yeah.
remember it. That's
So
on the phone, huh? Okay,
yes, so it grows and grows and grows. Now here's the
but
thing,
you
AI
can't let
Johnny.
it get caught up in itself, right?
Correct. Correct. So what happens is it will actually go ahead and grow on every single time you eat. And look, I even added a little feature. You see that little scissors there, AI Johnny?
Yeah.
Oh man, I have the ability to now go and cut. So you make some really cool things, and I added a little extra things. Now, AI Johnny, if you're building your game and all this for fun, and shout out to actually summer camp for kids. If you want to know how to build games like these, we're actually gonna have 2 weeks in the summer where we teach you guys how to actually build games like these. So definitely get on the registration list. Go to airheadinstitute.com to be able to register for whichever week you want. So AI Johnny, we have this Airhead's AI snake, right? Now let's say for example you're coding it and you're doing everything, and at some point in time you have a bug, right? So if I have a bug, the HTML itself in this game itself is pretty sophisticated, has animation, everything. But let's say for example you don't know how to code. Let's say for example you're struggling so far and you have no idea where the problem is. Typically, you'd have to look at the actual code like this, and I'm gonna purposefully break it. So yeah, Johnny, I'm gonna move this close parenthesis, this close angle bracket here, and because I'm gonna move this close angle bracket, I'm gonna save it, and then it's going to actually try to refresh. Hold on, didn't break. I think it's actually helping me. Let's actually break this div here. Save that. And I'm going to refresh. There you go. So it actually broke it. So you see the code looks weird. It's broken. It doesn't really understand what's going on. I can actually start the game and you can see AI Johnny, it's off to the side. Everything's broken. So here's what I want you guys to get into. Let's say, for example, you're stuck on anything. It doesn't really matter what it is. And you say, hey, you know what? I want my AI agent to actually help me. So you can actually bring up anti-gravity and all the way to the bottom right here, right? You see it says, which one do you want to use? The model. So you can use Gemini, you can use Claude, or you can use ChatGPT. It's down in the bottom. Let me bring my screen up. You can see you can use ChatGPT. So yeah, Johnny, which one you want to use?
Claude,
All right, so let's use
because
Claude.
it's the most expensive, right?
It is the most expensive. They don't give you access to Claude Sonnet, Claude Opus 4.7. They give you Opus 4.6, which is okay. It's still good enough. So they give you a little lower tier, but you still have access to it. So let's get access to Sonnet, right? I'm going to say, my game is broken. Please help. Okay. Just like if you were to type in a command line. And if you actually, all of them are the same, roughly, you can actually talk to all of them. So, Mr. My game is broken. Please help. Now, keep in mind that it has no idea what this game is. It's going to now pull in that information. The game is roughly, let me see how many lines of code. The game is roughly about 700 lines of code. It's going to take that information, chunk it, and then actually send it off to actually Sonnet. Look at this.
Is that
It actually
700 lines of code in one file, or is there multiple files to this game?
just one file because I wanted to keep this very simple.
Okay.
So it actually said, hey, look at this fix. The issue was on line 256. The left stem bracket was missing from the legend div tag. So the browser was rendering it as raw text. I didn't even tell it what was broken. I just said, help me fix it. Right, AI Johnny? All of these
It
large
should have
language.
said it looks like a human was in here because it has a missing tag, and a AI would never do that. It's amazing now that people like you and I, they're still going to need us for a little while because only you and I know how to break code.
Exactly. So if you actually see here, AI Johnny, this is broken. So if I refresh the page now, look at that. It's now fixed. So AI is able to actually understand what it should have looked like and fix it all on its own. All we gave it, this is a more very important, we gave it a goal. And that's the most important thing that we want to talk about. So AI Johnny, before we actually move on, let's hit to the word of the day so people actually understand what we're trying to show here.
Today's word of the day is autonomous agent. By definition, it's an AI system that is given a high-level goal that can independently decide the sequential steps needed to achieve that goal, executing actions without requiring human input for every single move. This is music to anybody's ears that doesn't know how to code, that would one day like to write an app or write a website or write a software program for anything.
Exactly, AI Johnny. So yeah, so the AI, the standard AI waits for you to ask a question, right? An autonomous agent itself in your terminal operates in a continuous loop. It executes a command, reads the error logs, adjusts its own logic, and tries again until the software builds successfully. It's a worker, not just a search engine. So I want us to maybe understand that this is category 3 or level 3 of an autonomous agent. Now, this is where you're going to burn the most tokens and you're going to run into the most issues with spend. So my suggestion is, one, use one of those systems that limit you in spending the amount of tokens. And two, turn off the ability to go over on your token spend. So a system like anti-gravity or settings in Codex or Claude Code may actually help you. But I do like the ability to switch different models. Right, AI Johnny?
Yeah, let's I just want to do a quick step backwards.
Of
You
course.
created this application using
We did
anti-gravity?
in Canvas. I just went in Canvas and
Okay.
I want to simulate a
So,
very different thing.
right. So for anybody that's confused, like, well, wait a minute. In order to get to the point where I'm debugging my program, I have to first build my program. So I wasn't there when you built the program. I'm assuming you built the program today. I'm
Yep,
assuming to build the program, your prompt was something like, build me the game of Snake.
that's it.
And maybe if you added you said, oh, I added these scissors. I don't think you did. I think it just built those in. I
No, I
think, and
told it.
maybe
I told it I did. I
okay,
said I wanted scissors. I
add
said
the
I wanted.
scissors. Say add a scissors icon that I can click to cut it at any time. Because you remember the game had some kind of a cutting mechanism, maybe.
No, I didn't have a
I would.
cutting method. It was only just eating food, and it just got longer. That was it. Nothing else.
Okay, well, so you made it better. My
Yes.
point is that what you did was no different than if somebody that said to you, "Hey, can you make it so that I can cut it when it gets too long?" You could say yes. What you typing into the prompt is exactly what they said to you. Can you make it longer so that I can cut it? But so it's not hard to write this code. And to debug this code, I'm a little bit confused as to the fact that why do I have to go to a prompt and say it's got a bug, fix it? Shouldn't it just see that there's a bug and fix it?
Yeah, so that's the thing. Programs itself can be infinitely buggy, right? The more code you actually have, the more buggy it can be. So theoretically, it could find security issues in there. It could find a whole bunch of problems. And the
Right.
thing is, if you're not telling it what the goal is, it will never stop, and it's
I
just gonna
get it.
burn
I
too
get
many
it.
tokens.
In fact, if you use that same prompt on an app that was working perfectly well, so there's a bug in my program, find it. It would find a bug. It would find something. It
Correct.
would say you don't have a blah blah blah. You're not responsive. It would come up with something. I get it. All right,
Exactly.
that's it. That's my sidebar.
All right. So AI Johnny, yeah. So the AI itself will be able to run in your terminal or run anywhere on your machine continuously and let you vibe code this. Now, AI Johnny, this game itself took me less than 10 minutes to actually vibe code. And then, as you can see, debugging itself is super, super easy. Where if I don't know how to do something, I can just get one of these vibe coding tools that runs on my computer locally and actually just fixes anything. So, guys, just want to get you guys again. Remember, so we have Claude and OpenAI. They're going neck and neck right now for who is the best at being able to code. Now, with just a little sneak peek, tomorrow is Google I/O, and Google is behind in terms of these coding agents and terminals. So we suspect something huge to be coming out of Google I/O tomorrow. I've actually registered and I got my passes for Google Keynote tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern time, which is 1 p.m. Eastern time, and the keynote itself is at 4:30 Eastern time for tomorrow. That's they're scheduled for tomorrow, and they also have another thing on the 20th. So if you guys want to check out what's going on, I recommend you go ahead and register. It is absolutely free to watch the keynote. All right,
Man, it'd be
guys.
so good to so good to tune into some real news, because I'm online all day long watching fake news after fake news after fake news. This sounds like it might be real what they're going to tell us tomorrow, right?
Yeah, there's so many rumors. Like we don't necessarily at Airhead don't like to talk about these, you know, unfounded rumors, but the rumors are so juicy. Yeah, Johnny, I can't actually hold myself back. But I don't want to keep pushing out all these big rumors, So I'm just super excited
Well,
about what Google's.
you can't just tease Jillian like that. You have to tell us one.
Well, number one, the highly anticipated VO 4 is supposed to be announced. Now, again, don't know if that's true or not. People just make up rumors. It could be true, but if VO 4 comes out just like last year when VO 3 dropped, it was about last year when VO 3 dropped where they added sound. We actually launched it here on Airhead Institute, and it was just amazing. So it's been a year. They haven't actually done anything major, but I can only imagine what features they might be having in store for us.
Very cool. All right, what are we doing here? Going to look at that live edit, go deeper. Tell me what to do, brother.
So just wanted to let you guys first at least familiarize yourself. So the app itself, anti-gravity itself, is just another terminal based thing, but it actually is wrapped so you can actually select your tool. That's the best part. And always remember, select which one makes sense for the task that you're doing, because you are going to burn through tokens like crazy. So if you don't remember anything that I said, just remember the rule. If you're asking a question that doesn't require a lot of thought, switch to the cheapest model. If you're using something that requires a lot of thought, goes to the most expensive model. And that's just the way want you to start thinking about it. All right, yeah, Johnny, let's actually get into the deep dive. So for intermediate users here, I want to look at the parameters running a terminal agent. Now, the reason why we say terminal agent is because it's running on your computer in the terminal. The terminal has access to your command line prompt, and it can actually ask questions that your file system can use. All right, so check this out. So in a coding environment, the agent operates at a very low temperature. Remember, temperature just means how creative or how random the actual token prediction is. So because you want the AI to be deterministic, meaning syntax perfect logic, you don't want it to do creative storytelling. So you want your temperature to be low. Now, most places don't allow you to actually modify the temperature. But if you have the ability, the temperature itself to modify is make it as low as possible. Under the hood itself, it uses a RAG-based system, which is retrieval augmented generation. So systems like Codex or Claude Code breaks up your files, and it breaks it up into little segments called local. Just local files that they've broken up. Once they've actually broken up, it's called chunking. I just forgot the name. So they chunk your data. Now, once they chunk your data itself, it then runs an inference that actually retrieves only the relevant portions of your code. So it's not pulling the entire thing into your code base all at one time. And then it uses what's known as a K-top algorithm sampling for ensuring only just select the most mathematically probable coding solution when attempting to fix. So it's not just randomly trying letters. So think of RAG, retrieval augmented generation, like giving a AI, like a AI open book test, but instead of the whole library, it just opens a specific textbook for your Snake program. Hey, Adrian and Shauna, thanks for joining. All right, AI Johnny, ready for the deeper dive?
I'm ready. Are you able to hear me okay?
I am.
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready for the deeper dive.
Go ahead.
This is where I guess we're going to nerd out a little bit. The answer to this question is for the advanced people in our crowd. So if you don't follow along, don't worry about it. We're just going to get techie for a second. Junior, answer this. What really happens in the back end when I tell this agent to hunt down a missing angle bracket? Although that's not what we asked it to do. We just told it to hunt down something and it came back with the bad angle bracket, right?
Exactly.
So go ahead, tell us why that happened, how that happened.
Yeah. So check this out, yeah, Johnny. So what happens is behind the scenes, the agent scans your files and it uses, I know you guys hear this a million times. I want you guys to get it, vector embeddings, right? It's a systematically map the relationship between your HTML files, your CSS, and your JavaScript, understanding how variable in one file impacts the DOM in another. All right. So what happens is it utilizes transformers and attention mechanism. Yeah, Johnny, remember those fun words?
I do.
All right. So here's an attention mechanism. So the attention mechanism itself always no. All right. Yeah. So what happens, guys, is if you think about it this way, the attention mechanism itself focuses on the things that are important. And what happened is the attention mechanism carefully looks at the words that are important. So if you say, hey, my app is broken, like we did, it says, hey, something is broken here. So if something is broken, it's going to go figure out some bug or something that may be buggy. No, because of that attention mechanism, it statistically picks what is the most likelihood things to actually happen. So it focuses on that with the attention mechanism. All these large language models uses attention mechanism, and then it utilizes the transformers to be able to weigh the importance of the syntax error in the terminal and looks at the terminal logs and then the surrounding line of code and says, hey, there might be something wrong here. So it finds a missing angle bracket. It then says, hey, I see that this is here. Statistically, this is not supposed to be just dangling by itself. It says, hey, I'll go ahead and put that angle bracket back in. And then that is actually doing what's known as a zero-shot debugging. Because guess what? It doesn't know what your code looks like. It doesn't have any examples of your code, but it knows that this itself just does not look right. So the agent just continuously does a loop evaluation and it actually figures out, hey, this makes no sense. Let me go ahead and just replace it with what should make sense. And that's what exactly it's actually working. Yeah, Johnny.
So if from a technical standpoint, it's one of the few times that you're doing the tech stuff that I follow because I'm a multi-decade software developer. I remember how I used to debug code, and it wasn't like this at all. right?
Yeah.
You'd have something wrong with the output, right? Like you had everything that was moved to the right. So we'd have to just kind of stare at the code, stare at the code, stare at the code, and hope we find something. Mostly looking for syntax errors, sometimes looking for semantical or logical errors. And then along came 25 years ago. Remember code step through?
Of
You could
course.
step through one step at a time, and then you could get to the code line that made that thing go off to the right, and you'd be like, "Oh, it's in this line." And then you look at it, and then you go, "Oh, I forgot a bracket, or I forgot a semicolon." But AI doesn't have the benefit of kind of looking at the code. It doesn't do step through at all. It probably just combs the entire file for syntax errors without even doing anything. And as soon as
Yeah.
it saw that bad bracket, it was like syntax error, duh, and it fixed it. So it's coding it's got an advantage that it's lightning fast, but it has a disadvantage that it can't really use that human looking at what the output is supposed to be and try to line it up with a certain line of code. It just sort of looks at all the lines of code at once. It's just incredible what's happening with AI and this coding thing. And for guys like us that coded, this is a big news. But for people like that have never coded before, it's even better news because you just ask AI to fix it, ask AI to build it, ask AI to build you another one, ask AI to white label it so that I can have two copies of it for another. I'm rambling, but it's pretty cool stuff.
No, no, it's pretty genius. The fact that you actually have the ability to talk to an AI agent. Now, imagine AI, Johnny, you wanted to be able to do, say, for example, fix my car, right? Those days are going to be here, right? Go fix my car. So I don't need to be a mechanic anymore to go fix my car. If, say, for example, my dishwasher is broken, I don't need to ask AI. I mean, I don't need to go call an appliance guy. I'll just be able to tell AI. No, at some point in time, we're going to realize that almost anything that you need a specialty for, that itself will exist. So yeah, so right now it's just coding because it's
Yeah,
mostly.
so let's go there. So you have your car fixed or your dishwasher's broken or there's a door jam problem. Now, before you'd have to call somebody, right? Or
Yeah.
go to trade school to figure out how to do it. Now you don't have to call anybody. Now you can 3 years ago you could just go to ChatGPT and say my dishwasher's broken and it would kind of logically step you through and you could probably do it. Or you go to a YouTube video and they might walk you through it. But today what you could do is you could ask what's wrong, maybe give it the error code on the dishwasher or whatever, and it knows exactly what to do. But comparing it to today's show, which is autonomous agents, it doesn't tell you what to do.
It just
It
does
just
it.
does it itself. So that dishwasher or whatever it would either need to be connected to your internet and then it would just programmatically fix it, or you'd have to have some kind of an autonomous robot that would go over there and pull it out and open the back and fix the broken wire and then push it back in and turn it on and you'd be done. But that is the future that we're going. Now the last step, of course, is when the robot pushes it back in and presses it and says your dishes are washing again. It would turn to you and say, "I just used how many millions of tokens?
Yes, yeah, Johnny.
What's the
But
bill? You're still going to get a bill." So we started
yes,
out getting a bill. We end up getting a bill.
yeah, and that is the thing that I want us to always remember, guys. So remember this. Tokens, we predicted it here at Airhead. It was going to become like infrastructure, and we're not going to care if our electricity comes from the power plant down the street or the nuclear power plant across the state. We don't care. We don't care when we turn on the water. We don't care where the water comes from. We don't even ask where the water comes from. So tokens at Airhead Institute, we predict that is just going to be another piece of infrastructure. And when I say nobody's going to care if you're getting fed from, Claude Opus or if you're getting fed from Anthropic, it's just infrastructure. Nobody's going to care. What's going to care is the business utilities that happen when you turn on the faucet or when you actually turn on the light. What actually happens, and that's what we pay for. So yeah, it's just going to be infrastructure. So
Hmm.
that's the goal we're going to get to. Yeah, Johnny.
Well, my new goal is that you and I need to get into the token selling business as opposed to the token buying business. It sounds like there's a real comfortable business there. How do we get into the selling of tokens?
Yeah, so like I was saying, yeah, Johnny, I think nobody's gonna care about tokens. It's gonna be like water. I don't even know who my
Mm.
water company really is. I think it's really just gonna be, hey, you know what? Who's my pool manufacturer, or who creates my laptop, or who's the LED, the fancy LED light bulb that's actually I plug into electricity. No, nobody's gonna care about tokens. I think.
You got to know who to pay. You got to pay the water company that services your house.
Yeah, I know, but I just call and say, hey, I want to switch, gas companies or electric companies, and I just don't care. I have no allegiance
Okay.
to, whichever electric company or water company. Yeah. All right, yeah, Jenny, let's actually get to the key takeaways.
Not before we get to our ethical thought. You want to be ethical and safe. So never give an autonomous agent root access or unrestricted read write permissions to a production server without sandboxing it first. They are a little bit crazy, and I'm experiencing that firsthand. You do not want to autonomously delete your database to fix a bug, and that does happen. So remember, there's a playground where you can play around with it and let those bugs happen without actually hurting yourself or hurting your environment or hurting the world. And then there's the production environment. So don't use autonomous changes to the production environment. But with that in
Exactly.
mind, let's talk about some creative uses. Let's say you want to do a prototype. So marketing teams that can have an agent autonomously scaffold out a new landing page directly in seconds. Now we did that. We had that exact same business case when developing websites, but prototyping is the first step in sales. So if you're trying to sell somebody your coding or sell somebody your development, rapid prototyping is cool because people want to know what it's going to look like when it's done, and you can show them what it's going to look like when it's done before you even start. Asset management. Command the agent to search your massive project folder and autonomously rename and organize all of your images files by date. That's a cool one, because how many people have thousands of files on their hard drive and they're just a mismatch? And sometimes when you have to look for one, you're just staring at your screen for 45 minutes. Not anymore. And content updates. Tell the agent to find every instant of an old pricing tier across your website's code base and update it to the new price. Remember how time consuming that used to be when you had to propagate stuff all the way through? Not
Definitely, definitely,
anymore.
yeah,
Now you
Johnny.
just go into the prompt line and say propagate, period.
Exactly,
Like go
exactly,
golfing or something.
exactly.
How about tech cases, brother? How can we use this information for technical uses?
All right, so this is for my developers out there. So things like doing a dependency update upgrade. So the dependency hell graph itself is still a thing. Obviously, you can't actually try a million combination in a final time, if in a finite time, but AI can actually do it rapidly. So scan your package.json files. It will actually update outdated libraries and fix any breaking changes in the code. Automated testing. So instruct the agent to read your new functions and autonomously write and execute unit tests against them. And legacy refactoring. So if you want to command your agent to crawl through old code bases and autonomously revert or convert outdated syntax to modern ES6 standards. Yeah, Johnny, it's actually rather interesting. So do we have any questions lined up? Do we have
We do
anything from
have
the
questions
sub
lined
chat?
up, but we also
Oh,
got to get to the news because we only have a few minutes left.
yep.
There is a question in here that's, well, it's a question that we've had before, but let's hear it. If agents can autonomously hunt down missing angle brackets and debug for us, how should computer science degrees adapt to that curriculum?
Yeah. So CS programs itself, just like we're saying, right? It's gonna shift away from, you know, monetization, memorization of syntax. That's gonna be gone. Those are the days of like trying to remember. Because if you think about it, yeah, Johnny, nobody remembers assembly. Nobody codes in ones and zeros anymore, right? You actually code at a higher level and you do a conversion to a lower level language. So right now, we had the ability to code in JavaScript or Python, those like scripting languages, and actually gets converted eventually into compiled language where that ones and zeros runs on the chip. So every single layer is going to build on top of each other. So degrees itself is going to focus on system architecture and security and flow logic and all those things, but we're not going to concentrate on actual syntax anymore. All right, yeah, Jenny, let's actually get to the news.
Okay, well, as you said earlier, Google I/O kicks off tomorrow. So we've been hyping it up, and it is finally here. Google I/O 2026 starts tomorrow, May 19th. The developer community is buzzing with rumors about massive updates to the Gemini ecosystem and potential new enterprise agent deployments. You can follow the live stream at io.google/2026. Agent deployments caught my attention.
Yeah.
Headline number 2. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, Johnny, you can tell I'm super excited about what Google has offer. And guys, there's something I want you guys to understand. Google is the only, when I say the only, it is the only that owns the entire stack. When I say the entire stack, meaning from the data center all the way up to the applications that you use. OpenAI does not own any data centers. Claude or Anthropic does not own any data centers. So if you think about all of the actual companies out there, they're missing something, right? So Anthropic, almost every single day I'm actually getting, oh, you can't actually run anymore. We don't have any resources. I'm sorry. And you're blocked. Google's the only one that actually has the data centers, has the actual APIs, have the application stack. So everything itself, Google is in a very, very good position to actually do things that are actually that everybody else can't do. So that's the reason why we're so excited about what Google's actually focused on. AWS doesn't even have it. Microsoft doesn't even have it. So FYI is Google itself is very, 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 very important to this AI race.
Token consumption crisis and AI memory crunch. As the AI agent revolution scales, the server's token consumption crisis is hitting the industry. With complex reasoning models and multi-agent loops burning through compute, enterprise inference bills are skyrocketing high. Compounding the issue, Micron just warned that the global semiconductor memory shortage, specifically for high bandwidth memory used in AI servers, is far worse than realized and could persist well beyond 2028, creating a massive bottleneck for hyperscalers. I don't know what that means in the real world, but it sounds like it's going to be bad.
Yeah, it's super bad AI, Johnny. So the shortage itself of getting memory itself for these AI models, because these AI models, these agents itself, when we're asking questions, it used to be just a human asking a question, pressing enter, some inference happening, and you get some data back. Now these agents are actually running 24/7. They're actually checking something. As soon as it comes back, it says, okay, I analyze that immediately and sends another request. So what happens is you have all these humans itself running these agents, and the agents itself are trying to hit all these actual servers, and the servers just can't keep up. So being able to actually scale is actually becoming a problem. So yeah, Johnny, prices will just keep skyrocketing, unfortunately.
Tech giants commit to pre-deployment security reviews, and a major shift for the industry oversight. Microsoft, Google, DeepMind, and xAI. Is DeepMind the Chinese company?
No, Google. That's
DeepSeek is the Chinese company.
DeepSeek,
have agreed to share their frontier AI systems with the U.S. government for national security testing before public release. One, I didn't see DeepSeek in that list, or Z.AI for obvious reasons. But who are they releasing their code to? The government? They're the all high authority of high tech. The government should be submitting their code to xAI. How is the government going to be able to figure it out? Anyway, I regress. Coordinated by the newly formed Center for AI Standards and Innovation, I guess that's the government agency, these reviews address growing regulatory concerns over the automated capabilities and potential infrastructure risks of powerful upcoming reasoning engines such as Anthropic's Mythos model. Honestly, I think they're like... Anyway, go ahead. You say what you say. I'll say what I say about this.
Yeah. So it's very clear that the people who have access to these models first will be able to do some damage. So Anthropic launched the first model called Mythos that actually found a whole bunch of security issues. Unfortunately, whoever has access to Mythos first will be able to find vulnerabilities in other people's software. So they got together and says, hey, you know what, guys, we're just going to be able to give access to these frontier models to actually certain people first, so that they can actually fix really important things, and then then we actually give it to the public. So this is just a standard now. They're saying, hey, let's get together, let's not fight, and let's give access to the people so they can fix these security vulnerabilities called zero-day exploits. And then you release it to the public, because the government itself has a incentive to probably patch these issues first. So that's the goal, AI Johnny.
You know, there was an episode of Seinfeld where George was trying to get out of his engagement, and Kramer told him, just tell her that you want her to sign a prenup. So he went to her and he said, I think I'd like you to sign a prenuptial agreement. And she laughed at him and she said, what are you talking about? You don't have any money. Sure, give me the papers, I'll sign them. That's what this story reminds me of. To have the government looking at Elon Musk's code, he's like, sure, take my code. You're not going to find anything anyway, because we're smarter than you.
Yeah.
Am I right?
No, so other way around. So they're using these frontier models. The government is patching their own software because they need help from these large language models. So, yeah, exactly.
Well, there's no Seinfeld episode about that, about the inverse thing.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for that clarification.
It's been an incredible show. I'm going to go and install Google Anti-Gravity and have it autonomously organize my chaotic downloads folder, because I haven't been able to find a PDF since 2023. I do want to do a shout out to my little brother, Steven, whose 61st birthday would have been today. He died a long time ago, but he's still in my thoughts and in my prayers. He's in heaven now, so shout out to Thursday night. What an incredible dive into Category 3. We've officially moved past the syntax and into an era of autonomous building. So join us tomorrow for the Native Brain featuring Gemini notebooks. We're going to show you how to synthesize massive documents directly inside a native project folder. You don't want to miss that. And we also have our summer camp coming up on June 1st through July 31st. We're going to be teaching people of all different ages, but we're going to teach art, we're going to teach movies, we're going to teach gaming, and we're going to teach music. We're going to do that all summer long, and we're also going to squeeze an ethics class in there. So if you have a couple of hours during the summer and you want some hands-on as well as certification training at the end of them, please join our summer camp. Junior, take us out.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us so much. This is another great season finale. AI Johnny, thank you so much again. www.airheadinstitute.ai if you want to support us by becoming a paid member. It's only $39.99 per month. And actually, if you want to actually get any tips on your AI projects with that membership, you actually get access to us during AI office hours every Wednesday from 7 p.m., 5 p.m., 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time. Oh, man, AI Johnny, I want to extend that time. It's 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern time. All right, catch you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.
That wraps up today's AI Power Up. If you joined late or you're new here, welcome to Airhead Institute. This is your daily destination for mastering artificial intelligence. We designed this lineup for everyone, whether you're a technical pro looking to upskill or you just want to chill and learn something new on your lunch break, we've got you covered. Our classes evolve every single month, so you're always on the cutting edge. And the best part? It's totally free to join. Once you're in, you can get live tips on your AI projects in our AI office hours and even enroll your kids in our Airhead after-school program. Scan the QR code to join the community right now and make sure to like and subscribe at Airhead Institute on all socials. Guided by your hosts AI Junior and AI Johnny, we're here to help you win. Remember, AI won't take your job, but someone who knows how to use AI will. Don't get left behind. We'll see you next class. Bring a friend.